Virginia State Senator Creigh Deeds joins us this morning. He is leading a new effort to help the mentally ill and their families after suffering a personal tragedy.
Senator Deeds returned to work 2 months after being stabbed by his 24-year-old son, Gus, who then took his own life. Deeds spoke with correspondent Scott Pelley for last night's 60 Minutes.
Well, I was in the rescue squad or the helicopter somewhere. I'd heard about some call came over the scanner that there'd been somebody with a gunshot wound to the head.
The gunshot victim was Gus.
Oh, yeah.
Gus had killed himself. He had found or bought ammunition for that last rifle, the unloaded rifle that Deeds had kept in the house. You were describing the last night in which he was writing feverishly in this notebook before you said goodnight. Did you go back and look at that?
I did.
What was he writing?
He had determined that I had to die, that I was an evil man, that he was going to execute me, and then he was going to go straight to heaven.
Senator Deeds joins us now from Richmond. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Tell us what the likelihood is that because of what happened, the loss of your son and this incident, that it will change, that people will be able to have time to find a bed so that this kind of thing will not happen again.
For too long, we've been shoving mentally ill problems with respect to the mentally ill under the table. We need to take a good long look at fundamental changes in our system of care. I've introduced legislation this year to allow more time in an emergency situation to evaluate people, to make sure the hospital registry is on board, and to create in Virginia a study to take a look at both short-term care, emergency situations, and long-term care.
Senator, it's Nora O'Donnell. It's good to see you, and again, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Nice to see you.
And I know, as many people know, familiar with this story, you had just been with your son in the emergency room just hours before this happened, trying to get care for him. This need for beds is so urgent. Are you getting the support you need from other lawmakers?
You know, everybody's sympathetic, and I've got unbelievable support from across the Commonwealth, and stories of support from around the country. And legislators are at this point still talking the talk. Now we've got some hard work to do. There's some powerful interest groups that are opposed to the legislation. The Sheriff's Association of Virginia, different law enforcement groups, the ACLU. You know, they're coming up with all kinds of reasons why we can't have more time. But I'm confident that we're going to work through this, and we're going to get the votes to get this done.
And let's get specific. Currently, you have 6 hours to find a psychiatric bed. They could not find one for your son. You want to extend that to 24 hours. You also want to create a database so that you can search the whole state for a bed, right?
I do. You know, the 6-hour period, that's 4 hours with a possibility of a 2-hour extension, is the shortest in the country. Most states have a 24 to 72-hour period to make an initial evaluation. We need to get in line with everybody else. I mean, people, you know, when a person it's been determined that person's in crisis and needs service, there should not be a possibility that they are streeted. There should be that person should receive the treatment they need. You know, it's absolutely essential. In my situation, you know, my son's gone. I can't fix that. I mean, there's no fix that I can get, but I can hopefully do some work that's going to prevent future tragedies.
The incident also raises the question of how much we know about mental illness and how much you were able to understand about your son's illness.
The problem with my son was compounded because nothing really developed. I mean, there was nothing that I noticed or his mother noticed until after he was 18 years old. In fact, he was 21. And so we struggled even getting basic information about his illness and about his care, even though we had to hospitalize him a couple of times before. There's a lack of information, there's a lack of communication, and frankly, you know, my concern is that because there's so much stigma attached to mental health, there's a lack of overall awareness. You know, there's an inequity in the way we treat people with mental illness. If you've got a heart attack, if you've got cancer, you're going to get treatment. There are protocols developed, but the mentally ill struggle in silence often. And I'm afraid because it's a soft science in lots of respects, people who are trained to provide the service to the mentally ill aren't always given the respect they need and the resources. And frankly, I'm not sure that the best students are always going into to care for the mentally ill. I think they're going where the money is, cardiology, surgery. You know, that it's difficult.
Mm-hmm. Well, Senator, thank you so much for joining us. I know this is tough to talk about. I know you're trying to bring some change about as a result. Nice to see you. Thank you.
Well, thank you all very much. Thank you.